So first one is Olga Tellis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation, a case of 1985 decided by the Supreme Court of India by a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court. Okay, now what happened in this case was Bombay Municipal Corporation, they passed an order for eviction of pavement dwellers in certain slum area of Bombay. Okay, so that order which was passed by BMC, Bombay Municipal Corporation, was under this legislation, Bombay Municipal Corporation Act 1888, which is a very like a common legislation. In Bombay, you would see Bombay Municipal Corporation doing a lot of things, and most of them, they are getting the power under this legislation, BMC Act. Okay, a lot of things are being done by them. So under section 314 of this legislation, they had passed an order that these pavements should be cleared and dwellers should be evicted from those areas. Now, when this order was passed, a writ petition was filed by a journalist, Olga Tellis, along with this organization, People's Union for Civil Liberties, who also are involved in a lot of decisions. Okay, they would file a lot of public interest litigations for, you can say, protecting rights of people. Okay, so they also took up this matter, and they, along with this journalist, filed this writ petition saying that this order, which is passed by BMC under their legislation, is not a valid order, and it violates the fundamental rights which are guaranteed to us. Okay, so it is unconstitutional because it is violating all these provisions, Article 14, 19, and 21 of the Constitution. So what is Article 14 of Constitution?
Article 14 is rights and protection of rights without discrimination, something.
Without discrimination.
Equity before. Yes. Yeah, you can equity before.
Yeah. Equality before law, not equity, equality. Yeah, equality before law and equal protection of the laws. What is Article 19?
Article right in it's a right to freedom and expression.
Freedom of speech and expression. Anything else?
Of speech and expression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, ma'am.
Anything else?
No.
Article 19 actually is like, it talks about certain freedoms, okay, related to different areas. So yeah, you are right. Freedom of speech and expression is one. Like that, there are other freedoms also, like freedom of assembly, freedom to move throughout the territory of India, freedom to settle anywhere in India, okay, all freedom of profession, all these rights are also there. So when we say Article 19, that means it is violating their right to settle in any part of India. Okay, that right is being violated. Then Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. All these rights are being violated because of the order which was passed under Section 314 of BMC Act.
Yeah.
Okay, now in this certain slum area, slum dwellers were ordered to be evicted from the pavement. Okay, and this order was passed under this act, and it was said that it is violating the rights of those dwellers because they are residing there for like a very long time. Okay, and it violates all these different rights which are being guaranteed to us through the Constitution of India and by way of right to constitutional remedies, that in case these rights are violated, you can approach the Supreme Court or High Court directly. You can approach the Supreme Court directly, okay, for enforcement of these rights. And same happened here also. Supreme Court, this journalist approached Supreme Court for protection of this. Now it was said that it violates Article 14 because individuals should be provided equality before law and equal protection of law without any of these discriminations. When we say equal protection of the laws, BMC, this legislation is there for welfare of the people, right? Because municipal corporations will do a lot of things for betterment of the people. It should not take away rights of the people. It should not create disturbance in their life. That is how it is violating Article 14. Same way as it violates Article 19 Clause 1 Clause E plus 19 Clause 1 Clause G. Now, why we are saying 1EG? Because there are sub-clauses in Article 19. Okay, if you see Article 19 of Constitution of India. Okay, Article 19 of the Constitution of India, it is having different sub-clauses, and inside those sub-clauses also we have sub-clauses. All right, so say this is what Article 19 looks like. Article 19, protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech, etc. That means there are some additional rights also apart from freedom of speech. All these rights are given in Article 19, Clause 1. There are total A, B, C, D, E, F, G. These are all the rights which we have. One was omitted, right to property. Then more sub-clauses are there. That is why we have 19(1), A, B, C, D, like that. So if someone asks you what is the article where right speech and expression is mentioned, you need to say Article 19, Clause 1, Clause A. Whereas freedom to form association mentioned, Article 19, Clause 1, Clause C. Like that we need to mention. Okay, same ways, in this certain case, they said it violates Article 19, Clause 1, Clause E. Okay, that means to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India, plus 1G of the Constitution of India. To practice any profession, carry on any occupation, trade, or business. Might be those pavement dwellers were earning something by living there. Okay, so that right should not be taken away from that. It is a violation of their fundamental rights. Same way, it is violation of Article 21, which provides for right to life and livelihood, and it cannot be taken away without any procedure established by law. We will be able to live only when we have livelihood. If people are evicted from where they were living for a very long time, it is like taking away their right to life itself. Okay, so that is why based on all these grounds, it was said that it violates their right. Also, Article 4, Section 441 of IPC was inserted, which talks about criminal trespass. Okay, all these things were mentioned and a writ petition was filed in the Supreme Court for protection of rights of those pavement dwellers. Now, what were the main issues which were involved in this case? First of all, scope of right to life and livelihood under Article 21 of Constitution. When we say right to life, to what extent this right will apply, to what extent this right will go, that was in question. Whether these sections of Bombay Municipal Corporation Act, under which the eviction was ordered, these sections are constitutionally valid or not. Plus, estoppel against fundamental rights or waiver of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are guaranteed to people. Can those rights be taken away by BMC or other government bodies? And lastly, whether pavement dwellers are trespassers under IPC or not. Because pavements are like a public place. If someone is residing there, occupying it, blocking it, is it criminal trespass? Are they violating the provisions of IPC or not? Those were all the questions which were raised in this case. This is clear, right, till here?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then arguments of the petitioner. What did the petitioner argue? Okay, petitioner as in Olga Tellis. Petitioner contended that right to life, which is provided under Article 21, right to life and personal liberty, It's not about mere animal existence, but it will also include right to livelihood. So right to life under Article 21 also includes right to livelihood. And this eviction violates this right, as evicting dwellers from slums and pavements will deprive them from their basic livelihood, and it is unconstitutional because they are not residing there by choice. They are not having any other option. They don't have any other place to reside. That is the reason why they are living there. So if that livelihood itself is taken away from them, it will be like violating Article 21. It's as if right to life itself is taken away from them. Now, what was the judgment of this case? What did Supreme Court conclude after all these contentions? So Supreme Court finally, by considering all the sides of judgment, what they held is that people do not have right to encroach on footpaths, pavements, or any other place reserved or declared for public purpose. There may be certain things like which will be declared that it's a public park, okay? Those are different. It is like a public place, public amusement, something. There might be certain places which are reserved or which may be declared. Pavements and other things, it might not be clearly written there, but it is understood, right? That it is reserved for the public, for use of public. So Supreme Court said that people do not have a right to encroach on footpaths, pavements, and any other place which is reserved for the public. So they made it clear that Bombay Municipal Corporation, whatever order they have passed, that order as such is not like unconstitutional or something. Because people only do not have a right. If you do not have a right to occupy or block public places, that thing can be taken away, right? That order may be passed, you may be evicted from there. That will not be violation of the fundamental rights guaranteed, because this right itself is not being guaranteed, that we cannot occupy or block such public places. In the current circumstances, Section 314 of BMC is not unreasonable. When you don't even have a right, there is no question of taking away that right? Because right itself is not there. So BMC has not taken away any rights as such. Those slums which existed for 20 years or more could not be removed unless land was required for public purpose, and in such cases, alternative site to be provided. There is one concept called as prescriptive right. Okay, in law, there is one concept called as prescriptive right to commit nuisance. That means if you are doing something for 20 or more years, and nobody questioned you, nobody stopped you during those 20 years, you get a right to continue doing that. Okay, it basically applies in case of industries or factories. When an industry is being set up, it is well established that there will be some amount of pollution, there will be some amount of loss caused to the environment, but we cannot say that there will be no industries. All the industries, everything should be shut down, right? Industries will be there. So it says that, okay, fine, if there was an industry which was set up in a certain place, it was working well for 20 years. After that, another person buys a property nearby, wants to live there. And because of the pollution, the person goes to court and says this industry should be shut down. Court will say that no, this industry has acquired prescriptive right to commit nuisance. But yes, the industry cannot be like very negligent, cause a lot of harm to the environment. That should not be done, but some minimum thing would be, some minimum loss will anyways be caused, right? Does not matter how much careful they are, some loss will be caused. So that will be like excused. Okay, same ways here also. What happens is, it is said that if someone is residing there for 20 years or more, it is as if they have acquired prescriptive right. So in such cases, if at all, they are to be removed because the place is required for some public purpose, then they should be provided alternative sites. Okay, and also it was said that high priority should be given to resettlement. So again, court did not say that, okay, whoever was residing here, for everyone you give alternative sites, because that is not possible. Whoever was residing for 20 or more years, for them, resettlement thing was proposed, and it was said that it should be made priority. Okay, and in this particular case, Supreme Court also made it clear that under Article 21 of Constitution, when we say right to life and personal liberty, it also includes right to livelihood as well. Okay, so unless and until we have this livelihood, right to life will have no meaning. Okay, and basically at present, it's like whatever things we need to make our life better, everything is like part of Article 21, like internet also is part of Article 21. Like that, a lot of things are being like included in Article 21, its scope is being elaborated. Okay, is this part clear?
Yes, ma'am.